Vacancy rates, what do they mean and kind of where are they heading? Let's get into that one a little bit more today. So I guess vacancy rates, the most simple way to explain it. If we've got 100 rental properties and we have a 3% vacancy rate, there are 3 of those 100 rental properties available for rent in the market. The other 97 are taken. Now, what has kind of always historically been seen as, an even keel per se, balance between landlord and tenant, has been somewhere between that kind of 2.5 to 3% vacancy rate. So if we kind of have a bit of a longer term snapshot here, their data is a little bit different from what we get at Domain, but between that kind of 2.5 to 3% rate is what we'll typically see. And if we go back to say 2019 period, we'll see various markets between that kind of sub 1% all the way up to high 2.5, 3%. What we can see, we'll use my state here as Victoria, COVID kicks in, a lot of lockdowns, vacancy rates went up to about 5.6%. So close to 6 out of every 100 properties were available for rent, which, what we're saying is all the power at that point then goes to the tenant. So what we saw over those periods of time, and I have friends and family who have investment properties in Victoria, we saw their rents reduce dramatically, as much as 20, 30% in some instances, particularly in the apartment market. You've had, speaking with a property manager in Docklands, and they were talking about as high as a 30% vacancy rate in some of those apartment buildings, which were housing international students at the time. But what we've seen over that period of time, we can see the correction here. Lockdowns open, migration comes back into play. We are sitting now nationally at a 0.9% vacancy rate. So that is not only low, that is record-breaking lows. That is less than 1 property out of 100 is available for rent. Now, not only is that pushing rent prices up, you've also got rising interest rates also pushing rent prices up, because if you're a landlord and your cost base goes up, i.e. the cost of your repayments are going up, you're going to pass that cost down to your tenant. Now, if the balance of power is towards the tenant and vacancy rates are high, that's something you cannot do because you're trying to fill all the gaps. But where we're sitting at the moment, the balance of power is with the landlord, and we're going to continue to see that stay on the landlord side because we already know that over the last 4 years or so, new builds have been impacted, so that has slowed down dramatically. And migration is actually picking back up. So we can see Melbourne has already fallen 0.5% in the last year. They were the most impacted over COVID. And Brisbane is a little bit up. I mean, that's probably because all the Victorians have started to move back home to Victoria after fleeting up there. You've got Perth and Adelaide at 0.3% vacancy rates. So that is 1 in every 320 odd properties that are actually available for rent right now. So it's no surprise you're seeing people pay $600-700 per week for a $500,000 property in the Perth market. That's not going to slow down. That's going to continue to go up, even if interest rates do come down, until there's extra supply coming into the market, which that's not coming anytime soon. You're going to still see that rental squeeze. So again, vacancy rates, what do they mean? If they're trending upwards, expect to see rents ease. If they're trending downwards, typically speaking, expect to see rents trend up. Interest rates will have a bigger impact on that. They've already kind of passed. I'm of the belief that they've passed in terms of rising interest rates, but that's why you're seeing the same properties, particularly in the Melbourne and Sydney market, which were an extra 10 or 20% up on the previous year, because landlords are making sure they're utilising the shortage on the rental side. So I hope that was helpful to some people as well. If you do have any questions on the vacancy rate side of things, feel free to leave a comment below, and potentially maybe you've got questions in terms of when do vacancy rates rise, when do they fall, and why do they fall. Would love to go into more discussions on that with you as well. Guys, my name's Julian. I'm the head of strategy here at Ripehouse. I hope you found value in this content. Please make sure to follow me on LinkedIn. I'll be posting a lot more data-driven content on there. Also, make sure to give us a like and subscribe on the video, and looking forward to getting into the next one. Bye for now.